What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Tori Amos as we continue through the Boys for Pele album, 1996. Thank you again to Nigel. And the next tune is Talula, though I have to point out, on the master release on Discogs, it just says Talula. In the folder here it says Talula, and then parenthetically, the Tornado Mix. So I don't know if this is a different version of the track that was, was originally on the album. So I'm sure people will have some insights, but yes, I just have to point that out. It says the Tornado Mix. But yeah, Talula, it sounds like a female name. Not only are single word titles tough to get a read on, but single word name titles are even more difficult, even if it's a name that is, like Elvis, where it's, I suppose there's people not Elvis Presley named Elvis, but you immediately go to the most famous figure with that name. And yet then, there still would be no indication what it's about. So when it's seemingly a more common name, yes, I have no speculation to provide. We'll just have to see what I can pick up on a first listen. This is Tori Amos. The track is Talula. And as I said, it's shown here as the Tornado Mix. what a sonic treat that was. Lyrically, I'm catching tidbits, and I feel like there's so much, and yet I understand so little. So, okay, like, what was it? What you want is in the blood, and that line, it was like, was it caboose or papoose, which would be very different meanings. And yeah, there was something about like a glitter girl, and I thought there was like don't lose your shimmer or something like that. So I don't know who Talula is or exactly what's going on with her. What was the line like? A bird on the end of the line or something like that? It sounded like sort of a fishing reference, but then in a like surrealist kind of way. So lyrically, again, I caught tidbits which were intriguing and seemingly poetic, and yet I have no idea what's happening. Vocally, she's doing a lot of interesting things here, including those long, almost deliberately a bit tension-filled and, outside the melodic pocket extensions. And I enjoyed the vocalizations at the end of those. It was sort of like, yeah, but in a, kind of breathy way. The tune itself, sort of very Baroque in its stylings. People who know my channel, and especially people who know my classical reactions, will know I'm very fond of the harpsichord and Baroque music more generally. Again, especially people like Bach and Vivaldi, and of course Bach, a lot of pieces with the harpsichord. So in a way it felt a bit Baroque, and yet there were also some sounds, like tambourine and some other elements that felt almost like folk music. So it was like Baroque folk, but also like art music, because again, it was very dynamic. There were parts where it would suddenly stop, and then, sort of roll back in, and they're like, again, vocally, she would go up and do like a little bit of a plateau and then come back down to a deeper tone. So yeah, a very lively and dynamic vocal performance, a very varied and dynamic sonic composition. And lyrically, again, interesting phrases, a bit of poetry in sound, maybe a bit surrealist, and seemingly conveying some sort of narrative. I just don't know how it all stitches together. But I feel like, again, with Tori, and maybe in this album in particular, and this is something that I think people have given me a sense of or confirmed in the comments, it's sort of like an experience listening to her music. It's less like, here's a story, clearly trackable from A to B, and again, maybe in some of the songs it is sort of that, or at least there's a pretty clear scene taking place. But in a lot of her songs, it's like I'm kind of along for the ride, and I'm experiencing the sounds and her vocals, and again, sort of like the breathy sounds that she leaves into the mix. And then when I'm done, it's like, I take a breath and I sort of, begin processing, but it's more of an acclimation process, whereas again, other songs, whether, punk bands that you see back here, other pop groups, where it's like, maybe I get a sense of, okay, it's like someone cheated on another person and the first person's bitter about it, but they can't like fully break away. And it's like, okay, I kind of get what's happening here, even if I don't catch all the lines. Tori, it usually takes multiple listens, though again, in some cases people have provided a lot of insight before I even get to a second listen. But yes, once again, this is like, letting a song and the sheer artistry of Tori's music wash over me, and then, I just try to, catch what I can, read what I can in the comments, and appreciate it even more on successive listens. So that's what I'll be doing here. Let me know what you think from Luca and I. I will see you next time. Peace.